Hey, good morning, whānau. Welcome back to Kaitaki Marakai Backyard Gardens with Rewai Te Kahu here in Kohe. Um, I just want to show you what we've been doing a little bit around the garden today, or yesterday. Bit of tidying up, bit of harvesting, and yeah, I'll just do a quick zip around. Planted a few trees last week. We planted out some Kumara, Kawakawa. I planted a couple of Aki. Kohe. What else did we plant? Yep, I think that was it. And here's our kumara. Look at this funny. And I'll show you where we did it. This is just in the backyard. So, and unfortunately, my fork, but you know, that's my first lot of harvest of kumara for the season. And whilst I was doing that, I also cut some of the vine, and I'm going to grow roots on those. They can store for quite a while. Yep. And here we go. So we did a number of things today or yesterday. Firstly, always thinking about soil health and soil protection. Is my compost pile that's over here. It was over here and I flipped it over to there after I put down a lot of green waste. So there's a lot of green waste under that bit. So this continual flipping and aerating and allowing the organisms and the fungi and the worms that are there to eat it up, and it gets bigger and bigger. Anyway, I'll just come around and show you. So remember I took that, which was a pup that was here, and then planted over there, but look what's come up. Another one, and another one. Oh, there's another one in there as well. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Pups are growing, which is a good sign. But here's what I did. Cleaning up the soil, getting ready to plant. Oh, funny brightness of the sun. And chipping that up, cutting that up, placing it under there. Some of this green I've put around my banana trees, and I'll use some of this in my worm farm, give them a bit of feed. Planted out some rosemary, some more rosemary there, another one over there, and along this side, either side of my rosemary, I have planted spring onions along there, spring onions along there, and over here I've put down some onions. Oh, that's a bit bright. Let's get into a better. Oh, that's funny. What's going on here? That is interesting. What have I done? That's a funny picture. Oh, there we go. And I got up this morning and the birds were getting into my seedlings, so I've decided to cover using this frost cloth. I'll just cover over it till I get home. But I've done 3 rows of onions, red onions. So yeah, so that kumara that I got came from that patch in there. I've still got kumara along that wall and in here on my tāpapa. I will probably wait till Matariki, and then this will be my last harvest for I did this last year because then I can use my green shoots and make those into tupu. Now, well, this is all over the show, but anyway, now see this beautiful banana tree? It's got another pup growing over there. Well, yesterday I harvested a whole lot of pups that were around there, and you may have seen it if you had a quick eye. I planted one pup over there, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in my little punnet of water, and my taro's growing, so I'm going to be able to do the same. Plant out these, another one in there. So that's what's happened here is I've now got a permanent supply of banana trees, and so I'm using these three. I'll use these three to generate pups for me, and then I'll plant those out, nurture them a little bit, grow them up. And beauty about the way they're growing is they're outside, so they're used to the current environmental conditions that we have, where it's summertime, wintertime. They're not grown inside a hot house or like a incubated tunnel type of thing. So it's all about just getting used to our environment conditions. But yeah, potted this one out so that it'll grow like the one we planted on the land. The idea being is that these will give me pups that I can grow on the whenua and have about 4 meters apart, which then means when I do cut and drops, I'm not only feeding them, but I'm also feeding the surrounding vegetation, fruit trees that I'm putting into the whenua in location. So as we're building the land in the papakainga, marakai, permaculture and fruit trees, we're also having to raise and nurture our own fauna and flora, and in this case bananas. Good part about it is as the bananas do the same thing on the land and create more pups, it just generates more and more, and eventually that site will be some subtropical with different vegetation and hua whenua and hua rako. Yes, so that was my job yesterday, is I harvest some pups, as I've already talked about, the mother, the daughter and the granddaughter. These are the grandchildren, but they're going to produce like that one over there. There's 3 on that one, but I'll leave one, because once this one produces a banana, this one will take over, and then I'll cut down that one because they only grow one banana per shoot, and then all that kai will go back into the next one that's coming through, next generation. But yeah, harvested the kumara that I mentioned, so I'm going to harden those up by leaving them outside curing, and I dug through here. As you saw, some of the kumara got fork marks in it, which is from that fork. Then once the soil was clear of my shoots and kumara, I then put down blood and bone and sheep pellets, and then just rake that in. Yeah, So I've got red onions here, spring onions on those sides, and that'll just provide a nice hedge. Whereas I've got to think through what I might grow down there. Radishes are good, they're very fast, which I may do. Brassicas will do well in here. Yeah, but it's just tidying up as we're done. I'll put down some more compost in here. One of the negative things that are happening with doing this is the root system from the Fijos. It's quite it's a shallow root system and it spreads out. That's why I'm building on top. But things like my lettuces, spring onions, radishes, spinach all really grew well in here. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. We've been a bit of a clean up, soil preparation, so ongoing doing that, maintenance and feeding of our plants, harvesting our vegetables, storing those over here, my kind of little nursery on that side. Now some more Kumara down here, haven't harvested that. So yeah, man, this is pretty cool. Love this stuff. Worm farms, I cut up a whole lot of eggshells the other day, ground them up, and I've put a cap full of worm eggshells in the worms and gave them a bit of kai because we're going to go to Wānanga this weekend. Probably back Saturday, maybe tomorrow, Friday. Yeah. So, big picture, I'm continuing thinking about the canopy. So why these trees are around the place. I've put one further at the back there, as you know. So I'm just lifting the canopy, and that gives shelter, particularly in summertime. I do need to trim that avocado tree because it's too high now. So Josh and I will do that sometime. So we'll just trim it down just to cut it a bit shorter. We do want it to grow, and that's a test for us. And if it produces avocados, it'll be awesome. The other thing is I got really hit a lot by snails, white butterfly this year. So I've been doing some research online around the pull and push factor, and how you can use different plants and the aroma and the scent of the plants can either attract those little bugs that eat away in your garden or pushes them away. And so I'm looking at that. For example, borage will attract bees, rosemary, the smell of rosemary, so I'm starting to create little lines of rosemary, so you'll see there, I've already got one started over there. Spring onions, planted out those spring onions, rosemary the other day, yesterday as well, that were in a pot that now my banana shoots in. But got dill growing up around the place. Yeah. A nice smell. Yeah, so one of the garden projects that I was watching, that they had dug this up, probably about that thick deep, put down a weed mat, and then filled it with bark. What they were doing was they were just trying to eliminate weeds and the lush green spaces where bugs and snails like to hide, and put bark down, which just makes it more difficult. So I'll probably be doing that in this area in here. I also use some organic spray on my lemons. You see this funny little things in there. I've got a particular spray that does that. It's the first time that I'm doing this. Again, some of the things that I've been watching, the fruit's fine. It's just a little fungi that's on there, and the particular spray I've got, which actually I'll show you, just to show what the New Zealand organic symbol looks like, because we follow Huapare Kore kaupapa here, which is organic growing, and it was this one, this particular group. So it's organic, and there is, now will it focus? How do I get that? There we go. That, that's a bit, oh, anyways, that's the logo there. Organic spray, and protect plants from range of insects and pests. And there's the instructions. So I've got a little spray bottle that I put I think it was 50 ml. That 15 ml of that into that, and then fill it with the rainwater that I've got out of the bucket over there, and then just sprayed it around. And I'll probably put 2 or 3 sprays on it just to get it on top. Now, let's get back to focus. Sorry about that. Remember a little while back I was talking to you about we can read the seasons with what we're growing here. So we know it's autumn, mahuru, because the fijoas produce. So that tells me that we're transitioning out of our summertime and we're moving into this autumn season, so there's harvesting, but that tree there tells me that. The next one is my lemons. Now this is really cool how God works, I reckon. Lemons are really good for your health. Lemon tea, lemon and apple cider, lemon, ginger and turmeric, all those types of makeups are really healthy. Now this one, look at that. My lemons are starting to ripen. So that tells me it's getting colder and we are moving into our winter. Look at that, she's starting to ripen up. Yeah, so being aware of what you're growing and when they produce can also be a tohu, a sign for your season that you're about to go into and coming into. And it just happens that from a whole perspective, lemons are good for us, help our health and build up immunities and so forth. So yeah, these trees tell us what season we're entering into. Just on a side note, whānau, I'm thinking about putting either a wind tunnel or creating a glass house in this place. What do you think? Gets a lot of sun, and to be honest, having another garden here is actually a bit of an overkill, but it's done its purpose. We're showing you how to create a garden if you look back on our series, but we've got enough going on in here that we can grow vegetables as we need, but we do need a place where I can do this, a bit of a nursery, a bit of a koanga, seed germinating. It's great to have it at the front, but still the bugs come in and try to eat it. So I'm thinking about creating a nursery with a greenhouse there, or wind tunnel there, and then have an external green wrapped place as a transition from the greenhouse. I can then put them into something over here on the side beside the we're eventually going to have chickens in here, and it can be a bit of a holding pattern, and again have it all the green wrap around it, and I'll probably do it from that banana tree to this fence and square just in here, which means I can put a number of those in here without worrying about the pests. And then we can plant out over here. Our worms growing. Anyway, that's what we've been up to yesterday. It was a really good day. I enjoyed it. It was good to get outside. We've got some kumara. As I say, I'm just going to harden those up. We've done a bit of soil preparation, planted out some spring onions and onions, and I'll put in probably put in some of my brassicas over here. Tell me what you think. Cleaned out my tomatoes, cut and drop, lots of little things. That's what we were doing yesterday. We're heading down to Auckland and then down to Tauranga Moana to help facilitate a wānanga for Kerry Baptist College. This is the wānanga for the tauira, hosted by Ray Totorewa. We're just giving a bit of awhi, Joshua and myself. Used to teach at Kerry over quite a lot of years in different seasons in the 90s. Did 10 years there till 95 or 96 actually, and then did some distance training till 2009, and then came back on part-time contract from 2018 through to 2020, what's 26, 24. Yeah, Josh and I help out. So we're going to be talking about huapare kore, we're going to talk about soil disturbance, which actually is part of what discipleship is about. He's going to be doing a bit of maraako with them. Yeah. Hey, if you're in Northland, in the 15th through to the 17th of May, we're running a hauora wānanga. It's called Ringaropa Hauora. We've got some speakers, practitioners coming, including myself. We're going to be talking about, I'll be talking about our marakai. We're going out to there, having a look at what we're doing and the concept behind that, particularly from an organic perspective. But we've got Sean Delaney, Sandy Kerr, Tans Feber, who's going to be talking about rongoa Māori. We're going to be talking about the impact of sound through instruments, traditional instruments. So that's the rākau, pūrākau, pūrerehua, and using sound for reorientating ourselves. I'll be talking about grounding and the garden, and Dr. Sandy Kerr is going to be talking about her journey and the place of clay pottery, and the use and creation of wind instruments through the pottery process. So yeah, it should be a great time. Lots of practical activities doing together, activations in the water, listening, hearing, feeling, getting connected to the environment that we find ourselves. So you're most welcome to come. Go to waiatuatrust.org.nz and you'll see the registration process there for that wānanga if you want to come. Starts Friday night at 5:30 and finishes after breakfast on Sunday. Bring your, all the details are on there, and a bit of a bio of all the speakers that are coming. That's the 15th through to the 17th of May in a couple of weeks' time. Well, look, right, this ended up becoming quite a long one. But that's what we're doing. I've been a bit quiet on videos recently, just weather, been quite busy, yeah. But it's always something doing, thinking around, feeding worms, looking after our worm farm in regards to the big one. So we now got 19 worm farms in here and in the shed. We labelling and collecting seeds. Food security, sustainability, practical ways of looking after our food chain and our food supply. So we've got kumara, we've got bananas, rhubarb, we've got fruit, we've got taro, I've got pumpkin that are seeds that are stored. And over here we've grown strawberries, I've made strawberries. We've got ginger, that's a second crop now, so the crop that I grew last year I've saved it and I've planted out some more ginger. Got our rongoa Māori, got our herbs,